Welcome to this edition of Hindsight is Horrifying, the show where three mostly normal and somewhat cynical adults discuss life as members of the TV generation.
May not be three.
Now here are your hosts, Darth Jada, Jason Mitchell, and Adam B.
And somebody's missing.
Really?
Yeah, well, you didn't notice? Oh, I know why you didn't notice.
What?
It's because of that incredibly lifelike reproduction.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So hindsighters, you might notice that one of our co-hosts is just a little less lively this week. Just a little. But he's still joining us in the studio.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Adam Brown. So I don't know why he sounds like a turkey based from Bob's Burgers.
Either. It's me.
It's me, Bob.
I love you, Bob. I give them a year.
Treating a turkey like a person. It's ridiculous.
What? It's his favorite holiday. And in which case, oh, wait, he doesn't like it when we do Bob's Burgers. There he goes. Oh no!
Oh no!
Come
We
back,
scared him away.
Come on. Play with us. Come on, Adam. You know you like being in the studio. Anyway, so this is our
great shot.
elegant solution to our co-host traveling yet again.
Yes.
He's such a diva, Las Vegas.
Mr. Brown is he is in an undisclosed location, which may be in the United States.
May not.
It may be down old South America way.
He now owns property internationally.
Yeah, that's
true. So
it
God
is
knows.
interesting because if he's in Costa Rica, you know who just took a vacation this week to go to Costa Rica was the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau. So it's a little coincidental timing, Mr. Brown, going down there around the same time.
You never know what's going on with this guy. It's a
what
little
if Christopher
suspicious.
Walken makes him try to assassinate Justin Trudeau?
I told you, if you came to Costa Rica, I'm gonna make a killer out of you. So to tie that reference in, hindsighters, we're talking about a movie that I'm pretty sure no one's ever heard of, including Darth Jader. And that's particularly surprising because it's a Johnny Depp movie.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing to hear about a Johnny Depp movie you've never heard of.
It is. It's confounding, to say the least. But I saw this movie when I was scrolling for material this week. And on Amazon Prime, I discovered a movie called Nick of Time. And the fact that it had Johnny and Christopher Walken in it was just an easy sell. So I was immediately on board.
Yeah, and it's weird because I'm obviously not as big a Johnny Depp fan as you are, but I'm a pretty big Christopher Walken fan. And I've never heard of this.
I would have thought that you had seen this one because of Christopher Walken, at least because what's the other movie that these two are in together,
Sleepy
Jason?
Hollow.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, Sleepy Hollow.
But there's almost zero, there's no dialogue between them in Sleepy Hollow whatsoever because Christopher Walken's character specifically just goes, the entire time. Yeah. That's all he does.
But he does a great job of it, though.
Oh, it's fantastic.
And it's more of an
But and Johnny passes out a lot whenever he sees the horseman.
Back when Los Angeles was a lot cleaner.
Are they going through a Hooverville? Like, what's happening?
They are, but I've been in Los Angeles recently, and they wish they could get it down to this level of filth.
Oh man, that filth. But yeah, so this movie, to give you a synopsis, hindsighters, for everyone who's never heard of it. So Gene Watson, Johnny Depp, arrives at an LA train station with his young daughter, Lynn, Courtney Chase, and is confronted by a mysterious Mr. Smith, Christopher Walken, and Ms. Jones, Roma Mafia. They hand him a gun, order him to kill the state governor within 75 minutes, and threaten to murder his child if he doesn't comply. I'm not done. Smith accompanies Watson to a hotel where the governor is to speak while Jones holds the girl. As Watson considers his options, the hour to act draws ever nearer.
Yeah,
Bum, bum, bum.
It's a sort of Hitchcock movie. It's where, innocent...
It's like John Grisham, Hitchcock-esque.
Well, it's interesting because it takes place in real time.
Yes, it does.
Which is fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
And they pull that off. And it has that sort of Hitchcock, man who knew too much sort of situation.
Except Johnny Depp knows nothing.
Yeah.
Where
it's just like a normal person just going about their business.
Yeah, he's an everyday Joe.
Yeah, he's an accountant. His wife just died.
I wasn't clear on that, and we can get back to that in a minute because there were special circumstances that bring him to LA because I think he came from San Francisco.
He said I was down there for a funeral.
so either his wife died, but he does indicate that she had just asked for a divorce. So, but in the train
Yeah,
station,
like they were
we get
estranged, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and that leads to a weird conversation between Johnny and his daughter Lynn when they're at the train station. I don't know if this weirded you out to the same level that it did me.
It weirded the
Okay.
shit. I know. I know what you're. Go ahead.
So Johnny and Lynn arrive at the station, and we're actually right about at that moment. And
Lynn
Johnny,
is his daughter.
Yeah, I already
Like
specified
9-year-old.
single digits
Single
daughter.
digits,
I would
yeah.
say less than 9. But anyway, Christopher Walken and Roma Mafia are looking around the train station, profiling all of the passengers that are, making their way through.
They're shopping for an assassin.
They are. And Christopher Walken, I know people. So
No, it's
Roma Mafia is like, well, what about that guy? And because you see like an old
Too
couple.
old.
Yeah, too old. And then, that guy hates his wife. No, we're not choosing that guy because they
Can you imagine being in that scenario?
They need to choose someone where leverage will be involved.
Yeah.
So they spot Johnny not right away because at first he has to have this creepy conversation with his daughter.
Very creepy.
She sees a young couple just macking on each other in public. They must be in their 20s, and she's staring, and he sort of, smacks her with his briefcase like, hey, like, be polite, quit staring.
Yeah.
But then she doesn't stop, and so he kneels down and addresses this topic with her, which it veers off into creepy really quickly because he's like, what, have you never seen people kissing before? And she goes, yeah. And he's like, you never seen your mom and me kiss? And she's like, I've seen people kiss on the TV. You and mom kiss like this. Mwah. It's perfunctory.
Yeah,
And he
and
goes, oh, well, Lynn, I mean, come on. That's it. That's all
We
you've
did
ever
it.
seen.
We used to bang. Where do you think you came from?
His specific line is, oh, baby, you missed a lot of kissing. And I'm like, that's okay. That's okay that she missed out on that.
Can you imagine being anywhere with your parents and having this conversation? Stop.
I would
Stop,
never
Dad.
have wanted
Dad.
to. Yeah, when my mom tried to pull me aside to explain the birds and the bees, which is necessary as a parent, I was like, no thanks. I saw it at school in a book. They explained it to us in health class. Stop talking to me. Ew.
Right.
Like, I'm out. And so it's weird and there's no callback. There's no relevance to it. Like, it doesn't result in anything.
Yeah, I guess it's them trying to, the filmmaker trying
establishing a rapport, but it comes off as cringy,
it comes
as
off
awkward.
very, very cringy.
And awkward, excuse me.
And I do like, so they're at the train station, Christopher Walken and Ms.
Jones
Ms.
and
Jones
Mr. Smith.
and Mr. Smith, yeah.
They're not married.
Yeah, no. So they're at the train station and they're just looking for random normal people that they can use. They can kidnap someone close to them and then tell them, you've got to go over here and commit this murder or we'll kill this person that you're with.
Right. And nobody else is up to snuff except for the couple that's making out.
Yeah.
But why don't they get selected, Jason?
Well, because they're French.
Yes.
They're French.
And so they won't be able to follow direction because Christopher Walken apparently doesn't speak French in this movie.
Yeah, and also he makes the assumption that French people in Los Angeles don't speak English, which I've got news for you, they do. But I just thought, what if they had gotten it wrong and they'd picked a guy where it was like, if you don't go and kill the governor, we're going to murder your wife. And the guy's like, oh my God.
This is the golden
This is
ticket.
the best day ever. Okay, wink, wink.
See,
Oh no, I missed the governor. Oh no.
Oh no. I told you I wasn't a crack shot, honey. Sorry.
Yeah, Christopher Walken in this movie, though. This
Oh my God.
and
Roma Mafia.
Roma Mafia. They both.
She always delivers a solid performance in every movie I've ever seen her in. Which
Oh
is,
yeah, she's one of those underrated.
yeah,
act-
almost
you-
like character actresses,
Yeah.
but it's almost a level above that because she can play anything. Like, I've never seen her in a bad role.
And you
but
just fucking hate her in this movie.
you do, but
You hate her.
You do, because she's the one in charge of the baby, and she's got the innocent kid in
Yeah.
her car, and she's gonna shoot her in the face, and so yeah, she's awful.
Which doesn't make a
And-
lot of sense because it's like, oh, I'll put a silencer on so when I shoot this person in the van parked in front of the hotel, no one will notice.
Well, they did a lot of that in this movie. Like, let's go to the
brain-
glass elevator
Yeah.
where nobody can see.
Yeah, the brain's exploding all over the place. That won't have any. Yeah, no.
That's when I'll need the window washer,
yeah.
and that becomes relevant. But the reason why they picked Johnny specifically, Watson and Lynn, is because there are these punk-ass skaters in the train station causing a kerfuffle.
Rollerbladers.
Oh, yeah, because Roma Mafia makes a point about that.
She's okay with roller skaters.
She's fine with
Or with skateboarders. Yeah, she's
she
fine with them.
hates rollerbladers and how they're dressed. She's like, I always think about greasing them on the front of my car. It's really brutal. And so Christopher Walken just agrees. But then they see Johnny's on the phone and he's trying to reach somebody. It's important. He's got an appointment wherever they're going. And the skaters are trying to steal his little girl's teddy bear.
Yeah.
So he sort of gets her away. He's like, hey, leave her alone, man. She's a little girl, and pulls her away from them. And then the skaters continue to hassle them to the point where Johnny just tips over a trash can and makes the rollerblader fall on his freaking face. And he goes, look at that, baby. See why rollerblades? Why you need a helmet? Because sometimes you fall down and go boom.
Yeah, and that was a weird choice on their part because they didn't need to do that because Christopher Walken wasn't picking people based on their ability to, fight and do stuff. And that doesn't have a lot of payoff.
No, but that was seeing how attached he was to his daughter, which you assume most dads would be, no matter what, just out of default. And he's just a regular guy, not to the point where he's throwing punches or causing a huge public distraction or issue. But he cleverly solves the problem kind of subtly. So I don't know. I think we're drilling down a little too hard on it, but he sees, he loves his kid. He'll obviously protect her. There you go. That's our guy. And so they put him in a van. And Jason, as a father, I'm sure you can confirm this for me since I don't have children. But if anybody, whether they show me a badge or not, came to me and said, ma'am, and then picked up like one of my nieces and walked away from me.
Oh, no, I'm going
to
prison. If it is a cop, if it's actually a cop, I'm going to prison.
That is an expedited way to get murdered.
Yeah,
I don't care who you are. You don't and no authority figure is going to do that either. So they're not going to walk away with your baby. That's unheard of.
And the good thing is that since I'm armed pretty much all of the time, it would have been like, okay, well, you guys go ahead and go to the van. I'll be right behind you.
Turn your back. That's super convenient for me. Absolutely. Don't walk away with my baby. No.
The weird thing about the movie that I wasn't really expecting, and I'm glad it went this way because, otherwise you wouldn't have had tons of interaction between Johnny Depp and Christopher Walken. But it's weird that he tells Johnny Depp, you're going to take a cab, you're going to go to, and the name of that is actually the name of
Bonaventure Hotel.
That's actually the name of the hotel. It's like the Marriott Bonaventure.
Okay.
And it was all filmed.
That's why I recognize the carpet, because there's a Marriott here in Atlanta at Dragon Con.
Oh, the marquee?
Yeah, and they look, okay. I was like, I'm getting such Dragon Con vibes from this hotel.
If you haven't been to the Marriott Marquis, if you ever come to Atlanta,
it's delightful.
If you have like a legal matter and you've been for some reason you have to go to downtown Atlanta.
Oh yeah, because normally it's
if you're being held hostage, you're being blackmailed by Christopher Walken.
If I ever get blackmailed or held hostage, Atlanta Marriott Marquis is where I want to be.
It is one of the most fascinating pieces of architecture.
It is,
and you couldn't find a more science fiction building. I mean, it's been used in.
And if you've seen the Hunger Games,
it was in the Hunger Games. Yeah, it's been used in a ton of stuff.
Yes, many movies. But
I think there was a Star Trek connection to it also. I think.
I don't doubt it, because especially the carpet that they got rid of, that they actually sold piece by piece because the Dragon Conners were so obsessed with it.
Well, when you go in and you look up, you feel like you're inside of like this H.R. Giger sort of creature when you look up inside the
almost
place.
Like an atrium for like a menagerie for birds. Like it's really cleverly designed. But that's not the hotel in this movie. But it's the one in Atlanta that we're talking about.
But so here's the thing though. What I was saying is, so he says, take a cab. You go to the Bonaventure. He gives them all these. Here's some cash. You're gonna need cash because the taxis. But then he just follows behind him in the van.
I wrote about that.
Why didn't you just drive him over there and get out?
Beyond that, so
you parked the van in front of the fucking hotel.
I wrote by 1:30 because by 1:30 Johnny's little girl will be killed. At 12:27, I've already determined that given the amount of effort spent shadowing Johnny and harassing him to kill the governor, it would be infinitely easier for Mr. Smith to perform the assassination himself. Because he's literally never more than like 10, 15 feet away from Johnny throughout the movie. So your face is already in the crowd. You could easily be blamed for shadowing the would-be psycho that's going to assassinate the governor.
When you have all these people who are protecting you, the security detail is compromised.
Literally
spoiler alert,
in on it.
the bad guy is the obvious. If you watch this movie, and we're going to spoil it, but
hell yes.
If you watch this movie, the first person that you see that you go, he's the bad guy, he's the bad guy.
Oh yeah, there's no
It's
huge
it's the
twist.
governor's husband.
It's
Yeah.
They try to make it into a twist, and so I thought it was
really
going to be.
not,
I thought it was going to be the campaign assistant.
Yeah.
And Josh said the same thing. We were watching it together. He goes, "Oh, she's bought off too." Because so what happens, hindsighters? Johnny is kind of dragging his feet, literally and figuratively, because he obviously doesn't want to kill a perfect stranger. He doesn't want to take a life, but it's his daughter at stake. And ultimately, he does come to the conclusion, I'm going to do whatever I have to do. Like if his plan ultimately, because he tries so hard all day to avoid the murder, but he basically comes to the conclusion that he will kill the governor if he absolutely has to.
Well, he does. You're right. He does. At the end, after actually telling the governor, here's the thing.
They kidnapped my kid.
Yeah,
I'm being
I
forced
will.
into
If
this.
you don't solve this, I will have to kill you.
Yeah, I don't have a choice.
Which
But
is dumb
he-
because they're obviously going to kill the daughter anyway.
But he doesn't.
There
it.
was no fucking way.
Well,
that they
the
were,
one twist that ended up
Yeah.
being helpful was the lack of signal for the walkie-talkies, because they obsess about them throughout the movie. So Christopher Walken, the parameters are the governor must be dead by 1:30. And
Yeah, but that didn't make any difference. It makes because they
It
are,
did make a difference.
they had already said if I don't hear from you, I'm going to kill her.
And Roma Mafia was going to kill her, but
So-
the shoeshine guy distracted her and made it so she couldn't kill the girl.
No, but I know, but the radios were irrelevant because Christopher Walken wasn't going to call and go, let her go.
That that's a good point.
He was never going to make that call. She was
No.
dead. In fact, well, they needed her alive so she could do the proof of life thing.
Yeah, the walkie-talkie was literally for threat.
Yeah.
Like that was the whole purpose of it, was
Here,
to
hold
wave
this,
it in
don't throw
Johnny's
it away.
face, be like, "Hey, I could make the call at any second." And
Yeah.
it's like, well, all right, if you kill his daughter early, then once again he's lost all motivation.
I had a hard time, by the way, watching this and not imagining that this was Ed Wood being because this is a similar era.
Okay.
Ed Wood, I don't remember what year Ed Wood came out.
This one came out in '95. Ed Wood came out after.
Yeah, I'll have to look. But I had a hard time not imagining Ed Wood being blackmailed by Christopher Walken.
But he'd be so much more cheerful about it. Like, well, sure. Is this going to be filmed? Like, what?
Gee. Well, golly,
He'd be so chipper about it.
Eddie, help me.
Eddie, I'm so broke. Let me kill the governor.
They're going to kill Bela Lugosi if he doesn't kill the governor.
Now, see, that would be high
There's
stakes.
your movie.
There's your song. Okay, so Ed Wood came out in '94, and
Okay.
this came out in '95, and
Yeah.
I wonder. This is such a John Grisham type movie that like
It's
Brad
almost
Pitt
ama-
would have been in,
Yeah.
or this is not a typical Johnny movie
No,
at all. I
no.
wonder if it was sort of a reach where his like publicist or whatever was like, all right, enough of the weird Tim Burton shit. Time to do something more mainstream, Johnny, to make that paycheck and do something more normal. 'Cause
I mean,
he still had the heartthrob look and everything going on still in
yeah,
in the early
yeah.
mid 90s. He hadn't quite escaped the 21 Jump Street fame and really established himself as the king of weird. So I think that's what this movie really was. It was more of a reach.
well, I mean, John Badham was a successful director, still is. I think he does mainly TV now, but like a lot of it. But he did War Games.
That cab is from the 1950s.
No, it's not. That's what's so scary. That's what's so fucking weird about watching movies from the 90s and looking at like police cars
They're
and
huge.
cabs, and you go, wait, that isn't right. That's a cab from the 50s. And
Oh,
it's
and
like,
here-
no, it's not. It's from the 90s.
So you were saying Badham's a good director, and I agree with you. I
They
think he
did
a good job.
Short Circuit.
But I think the writers kind of left too much on the table with this movie. So this, for instance, I thought the cabbie was going to be more relevant because so Johnny takes a cab to the Bonaventure, and he's got his Gene Watson CPA cards, and he's trying to write a help me note to the cabbie, like saying, hey, my daughter is being held in this van that you can see through your left window in the taxi. Oh my God. And he's trying to reach out for help in the subtle ways that he can, even though Christopher Walken's 4 feet away from him the entire movie.
And that's another problem with the movie, which I did like, and I'm gonna say that I actually really
I
enjoyed.
enjoyed
I
it.
really enjoyed it. But the whole time, Christopher Walken is being both a complete asshole, like a horrible asshole.
Yeah.
But he's also incredibly forgiving. Because like every 10 seconds, Johnny Depp is trying to get somebody to help him.
Yeah.
And Christopher
he
Walken finds out.
Yeah.
And then he's like,
Well,
yeah.
he doesn't find out about the cabbie, so that's why I thought
Well,
that was
no.
going to come full circle. And the cabbie, because it's a tense moment, and you see Christopher Walken, watching menacingly through the back windshield, and Johnny's writing a help me note, and the guy takes his money because Johnny does use some of that helpful cash that
Yes, he
Christopher
does.
Walken handed
Yes, he
him for
does.
the cab.
Wow, how cheap was that? $3.50.
Yeah,
You can't
not in
get
'95. That wasn't cheap.
$3.50 for a cab.
To go 40 feet.
Well, there's a minimum fare.
Okay,
It just to turn the thing on, they charge you like $7 now.
Oh, really?
And then they add the miles.
I think
It's
I've
crazy.
been in a taxi like less than a handful of times in my life, so I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, I've never really had much. I've lived in Georgia most of all of my life, so
You're not missing much because they suck now.
Yeah,
because they've got screaming TVs.
Oh, like gas station pumps. God, I hate even filling my car
they've got
up
the
now
gas
because of
station
that.
pump TVs.
Ugh,
yeah,
that's
they're
horrible.
miserable.
That sucks. But the point of that was that so Johnny fills out the help me note card, and then the cabbie crushes it, like folds it with the money and puts it in his pocket because another fare jumps in. And he's like, "Hey, I'm going to the airport," and so it's like, oh, he's so close. He almost had somebody to help him. But you think that the cabbie I thought he was going to go to the airport, drop that guy off, and then like start counting his money.
Like he was going to be like
and
Argyle.
oh my God. Yeah. I thought he was going to be
gonna be Argyle
type. Yeah. I thought he was going to like realize, that guy was in trouble, and then come back and circle
at
around
the very
and
end of the
help
movie. Yeah, no,
Yes.
he did nothing.
No,
But
he did nothing.
but the guy in the lobby who I think was on Babylon 5. I'm pretty sure he was one of the guys in Babylon 5. But
Of course you do.
But he comes back full circle because he kills Inspector Kramer at the end. He kills Bill Smitrovich, who is a great actor.
I'm so lost right now.
Bill Smitrovich plays the head of security who is compromised.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You've seen him in things, but his best role was he was in the Timothy Hutton adaptation of the Nero Wolfe books that they did on A&E. He played a character
God, I love
named
Timothy Hutton.
Oh yeah, Timothy Hutton's great. Who's not canceled anymore.
Yay.
He apparently the Canadian. I actually looked this up because I watched a Nero Wolfe the other day, and I said, I wonder if Timothy Hutton's still canceled.
Oh, what did he get canceled for?
Somebody claimed a
sexual assault.
Oopsie, yes.
Oh,
yeah, but,
I really hope that's not true.
well, apparently it was investigated and no charges were filed.
Yay.
So hopefully that means
I hope
Timothy
that
Hutton
means
is
we're-
not canceled.
Yeah, because
I
I've
do
always
love
adored him.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Timothy Hutton's great.
Yeah. So okay, the head of security you were talking
Yeah,
about.
Bill Smitrovich, but
Sure.
he's killed at the end of the movie by the guy you see in the beginning in the lobby who works at the hotel and who is eventually sort of roped into things by the real
I didn't
hero.
realize that the guy killed him because
Yeah.
he's the one like wheeling the food
He
around for the events and
he
stuff.
pushes the cart and it hits Bill Smitrovich and it knocks him into the electrical panel, which somehow electrocutes.
Somehow I missed that. But
Really?
I knew he made contact with him, but I
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
see it. Oh no, you know what?
'Cause then
That's
he's,
right.
like,
it's
looking-
in like the Austin Powers hallway.
Yeah, because the guy
and he's like zzz, just getting zapped against the wall. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. So okay, yeah, the head of security dies. And I thought so the writers really did leave too much on the table with this movie. I thought the guys at the bar were going to be relevant too because we spend so much time with them and we
absolutely
hear them
nothing.
talk. So
they were there just to establish a little bit of character about the governor.
Yeah, and
That's
which was that most of her constituency at this point, or anybody really, thinks that she's gotten too liberal. There was actually kind of a racist quote where the guys at the bar are complaining about the governor. They're there to see her big speech toward the afternoon because there's like a buffet. It's like a parade of events that she's doing at this hotel. And the guy at the bar says the only people not on her staff are the ones lost in the rainforest. Those people don't represent you and me, man. And so they've established that they don't like her. And so apparently that's the reasoning behind it. And you think that this might go deeper, like, oh, it's like some sort of group that doesn't like her. They don't like her policies. Maybe it's something like that. No, it's her husband.
Yeah, no, that's it.
It's just her. No, it's her husband's contributor.
Well, that's the weird thing because there's a character who is credited as Mystery Man.
Who no repercussions happen to him.
No, you see him
he walks
leave.
away.
But here's the thing, though. That whole thing with him being the Mystery Man didn't work for me because I misheard a line. There's a line where the husband is talking to the governor, And he's like, I'm the one who's got to go out there and fix all this mess with all the broken promises. And he says something about the mayor of Los Angeles. And I assume that guy was the mayor of Los Angeles. And that's why he was in there.
Oh, maybe.
No, he's not. No, I mean, I was wrong. I was completely wrong.
I don't think he is, because he would be out in the public eye and everything. But...
So I just assume, it's the mayor of Los Angeles. But then I look it up. I'm looking at IMDb later, and he's credited as Mystery Man. And I'm like, oh. Well, fuck, I don't.
Well, oh well then.
Yeah, it made sense before because I didn't get it.
Okay, so this is the first part where Christopher Walken is not lax with Johnny because
we need to talk about this scene though.
Do tell.
Because this is a scene in a glass elevator, and
he wanted him to murder the governor in a glass elevator where literally everyone can see them.
Yeah, well, here's the thing: that glass elevator was in this shot. You've got Johnny. Christopher Walken,
the governor, her assistant,
the director, the cinematographer, the camera operator, the focus puller. They were all in there.
Biggest elevator ever.
Well, no, they were literally all crammed in there, and they had 8 Kino Flow lights filming it so you wouldn't get any reflections, and they were all crammed into this tiny little elevator.
So they were dying of heat stroke.
Well, the Kino Flows don't make a lot of heat.
Oh, okay. No, but even just that many people in that small of a space.
Yeah. In a glass container. And here's another guy.
The photographer.
The photographer. Is he in on it? He's got to be. He's got to be the guy.
He signals to the bad guys like, oh, look, there's Wade or Watson, going up in the elevator. And so he kind of screws Johnny over a couple of times, and you see him taking pictures of him and clearly keeping tabs on Watson, but it just, no. So here's a pivotal character that we've just now passed, and it is Mr. Shoeshine.
Oh, yeah, the hero of the movie.
Yes, absolutely. The veteran with a wooden leg, and that comes full circle along with wingtip shoes. So little comes full circle in this movie. The walkie-talkies, that was a full circle thing. They even set up some moments like later when the governor does discover that her husband's betraying her and he's in on the murder plot for her. The reason why she knows that something's off, because Johnny gets a moment alone with her in her suite, and he's dressed like a hotel worker, like a bellhop or something, and he comes into her room, gun, out, like saying, I'm going to kill you. This is going to happen. There's a plot. Try and reschedule the speech, Governor. They're not going to let you do it. You'll see it's like a pivotal thing. And then a few minutes later, when she follows his advice, when she's talking to her husband, she goes, oh, Brendan, which you can't trust anybody named Brendan. Oh, my God.
No, you can't.
She was like,
except Brendan Small. He's okay. He's cool enough.
She says, Brendan, I'm having some, intestinal issues. I think I'm going to skip the speech.
Maybe Brendan Gleeson, but I don't know. Could go either way.
But she's like, I'm having some stomach issues. I think I'm going to pass on this speech, and he won't let her do it.
Okay, the governor's got diarrhea.
Sorry, we're late. Running down the gutter with the
governor's pooping.
Oh my God, there
Santa
he goes.
Is not
no
pooping.
Shit. There he goes. He left. Oh, damn. But so the governor realizes, she's like, oh yeah, can you send my assistant in here? I want her for some rewrites on the speech.
No, she is alive.
She's
elsewhere.
She's busy being alive somewhere else.
She's just so full of life that I sent her out on an errand.
But that's the moment where the governor... So the assistant is killed by Christopher Walken before all this happened.
Which was disappointing.
Yeah.
I liked her.
She was a good character, and she was trying to help Johnny out of this pickle that he finds himself in these days. And
I think I go pickles. You just plop them right in.
Really, Lynn.
This is great. We can without Adam here, we can
he left,
we can
so we're
make
good.
so many Bob's Burgers jokes.
All right. But yeah, so the assistant's been killed by Christopher Walken when Johnny was attempting to get the assistant on his side. So she mistakenly thinks that she can trust Brendan. She can't. She takes Johnny up to the suite where the not mayor of Los Angeles and Brendan are staying, and that's where you find out.
That made so much more sense to me. And
that's where you find out that they're in on the plot, because she was like, "Oh, Mr. Governor's husband guy. Oh my God, this guy
the first gentleman.
This guy has been roped into murdering your wife." And so Christopher Walken then comes in because Johnny keeps thinking he's found some sort of home base, some sort of source of safety. And he keeps getting screwed over because it goes higher and higher and higher. And so Christopher Walken walks in, and kills the poor girl. And so
Yeah.
when the governor's talking to Brendan saying, I want to reschedule my speech, he's like, oh, I sent your assistant out on an errand. And it's almost like a freeze frame moment where she's like, oh, you sent my assistant on an errand? And that's when she knows that her husband betrayed her. And I'm like, but they didn't lay any groundwork for that. Like, oh, Brendan has his own assistant. He never uses mine, like even in a lazy way. They didn't do that.
That's
there was
funny.
no
Brendan
establishing.
never sends my assistant away at home.
Oh, Governor, I speak jive. So
And but the thing is, though, the whole movie is just basically just waiting for Charles S. Dutton to save the day. And he does.
Oh, big time.
Because
he saves the movie.
Yeah.
He saves the day more than Watson does.
well, because it's an interesting movie because it doesn't have a traditional 3-act structure. You know, you don't have
No. It's a lot of repeated stuff, too. Like
It
he goes
is.
he repeatedly goes to the shoeshine. He repeatedly goes to the bar.
It's weird because it's an hour and a half movie, not quite an hour and a half, but
It was too long
kind
for
of,
what it was.
It feels like it was too long. I actually thought the whole time I was thinking, okay, and this is unfair. No, it's unfair criticism on my part, but it felt.
Oh, Adam came back for this. Okay.
Oh, there he is. Because I kept thinking
He's
it's sort of a TV movie. It's sort of a 90s TV movie.
It definitely is.
And that's not.
But it's not, though. Would you like to know what the budget versus the box office was?
Oh, God, what was the budget?
It was dramatic.
The budget had to have all gone to Pan Talent.
The budget was $33 million.
Damn.
Do you know what the box office was?
$33?
Close. $8 million.
Okay, yeah, huge flop. Then.
Huge flop.
And there's no reason for it to be a flop.
It had the formula. It had the names.
I will tell
Christopher
you.
Walken, and this was 1995, and we're still in the era of hindsighters where you're like, oh, it's the new Johnny Depp movie.
Yeah.
I'll go see it. The new
and
Christopher
Christopher
Walken
Walken,
movie.
yeah.
I'll go see it. That's 2 generations of people that are going to come and see that movie, minimum.
The thing about movies, though, is that
What's the thing about
particularly
movies?
back then, when theater sales were a big portion of your take,
Mm-hmm.
it all came down to wanting to go see the movie more than once. You had to have an audience that was willing to go see it multiple times. And I actually think, in a way, the movie was too good at accomplishing its goals because...
Oh, no, the Westin Bonaventure, not the Marriott.
Okay, it's the Westin, sorry.
Okay. But still, Atlanta
it's the
vibes,
yeah.
regardless.
But the
There goes the Ghostbusters Ectomobile. Did you see that?
What?
He was just driving down in downtown LA on the
Okay,
bottom left when he leaves the hotel. So keep an eye
I'll
out.
roll it back and see.
Bottom left.
But what I was going to say is the movie is kind of too successful in doing what it was intending to do.
Right.
Because it's like stressful.
Ectomobile.
Oh yeah. Well,
There
that's
it
what. No, I'm
goes.
telling you, that's what cars looked like in the 90s. Christopher Walken.
As he's going across the street.
Christopher Walken is so evil. And he's so just constantly like watching it. You're uncomfortable the whole time.
It to the point where you want him dead at the end.
You
of
want
this
him
movie.
dead.
Yeah.
The whole movie, you're just, I can't wait. And I will say,
And Johnny's gotta kill him. It can't just be
Oh, no, Johnny's
he
gotta kill him.
accidentally dies
Yeah.
or he falls to his death. Nothing
Yeah.
like that. Johnny's gotta kill him.
and he does kill him.
Yes.
And it's okay.
It's not satisfying.
It's not satisfying. It's not. I wanted to see Johnny Depp beat the crap out of him and kill him with a
yeah.
stick.
So
know.
Roma Mafia went down harder than Christopher Walken.
Yeah, but she didn't die.
No, she got knocked out.
She got
and
knocked
presumably
out.
arrested.
Presumably, yeah.
But because police converge later. But this is a pretty good. This is where she really steps up her game because Johnny does sneak out in the middle of all this. He crosses the street. He opens the van door, and Roma Mafia is behind the seat where his little girl's laying down.
Yeah.
And she's pressing something against the back of the seat, which you can only assume is a gun. And she has a whole speech of, well, if it's a .22, it might make it through the cloth. It might hit her in the head, cause some injury. It might do this. Now, this kind of gun will go through her, will go through the engine block, will go through the guy down the street. And Josh was like, none of that would happen.
None of that would happen. No. And also, the movie does, this was a classic 90s thing that I don't know. I would love to know what movie first established this trope. But there was a thing in the 90s where the guy holding the gun on the hostage would say, if you shoot me, it's going to make my gun go off. And like the reality is, if Johnny
no.
if Johnny had just put a round through her face,
do people not know how guns work?
well, I don't think that
They treat them like firecrackers, like as
Yeah.
if this gun goes off and your gun is right next to it, there's going to be an explosion.
Yeah, and it's sort of the logic is like, well, if you kill me, it's going to make my hand's going to contract and I'll pull the trigger. And I'm
No.
like, you know what? You've got a gun to my kid's head right now. I'm fucking killing you.
Yeah, you're going down.
I'm taking the chance.
I wouldn't have waited
I'm
for
killing
the
you.
speech. Nothing.
No.
I would have just popped her in the head, and it would. But then the movie would be
Imagine
over.
if they had
so.
done that. He just shoots her. Come on, sweetie.
Hey, free van. Let's go to your mom's
Christopher
funeral.
Walken walks out. What?
What?
Where did he go?
You're dying all wrong. It's. What are you doing? But he.
You. Do you like your dog? I'm going to take your dog. Kill the governor.
Do I have another gun? Oh my god! And the marching band featured prominently throughout this movie.
It's kind of strange.
You hear them like 40,000 times. Oh, another Dragon Con vibe because they've got a similar like little plaza area. It's just a cement like
We get it. You've
gathering
got
area.
email.
But no, this is where people hang out and take their photos at Dragon Con. Such Dragon Con vibes. Maybe because it's August.
Because it's a hotel.
Well, and it's August. It's almost Dragon Con time.
There's
But-
Bill Smitrovich, by the way.
Yes, and this is
the
where you
chief of
start to
security.
find
Inspector Kramer.
Yes, this is where you find that all like how much higher up because it starts with Christopher Walken and you think he's an outside source, but no, he's connected to the security.
Yeah, everyone's-
and the security's connected to the hip bone, and
Well,
hip bone's
that's-
connected to the governor.
That's
like,
what doesn't make any sense. Everyone's in on it.
except the governor and her assistant. Those are
Right.
the only two people who were not in on this.
So you've got
And
this
somehow
Yeah.
they all got that past them.
and it's like you're going to do all this, maybe just cut
Just
the brakes
kill
on her
her.
car, just kill her.
Don't make it a big thing when you.
Well, Christopher Walken at one point is literally he's in a room overlooking this auditorium waiting for Johnny Depp to kill the governor, and he's going to shoot Johnny Depp as soon as he kills the governor.
Yeah.
But why couldn't Christopher Walken just shoot the governor and leave? Because no one's going to stop him.
Yeah, it literally security's bought and paid for.
Yeah.
So who the hell is going to stop you? Like, and security is bought and paid for, which we discover because Johnny's having a tense moment where he's in line about to be metal detected, and you see the security officer click the power off of the metal detecting wand when he goes over the pocket where Johnny's got his gun. And that's when Johnny starts to realize, oh no,
Yeah,
I might be outnumbered.
yeah, it's sort of the flaw of the grand conspiracy movie.
Yeah.
Because, and I think you could do this back in the 90s, but we've become a little bit maybe too cynical. Because it's sort of like with the Kennedy assassination. One of the big flaws in the whole grand conspiracy of the Kennedy assassination is, don't you think at some point somebody on their deathbed would go, oh, by the way,
Yeah, maybe.
or
How
hey,
some of the Nazis are finally giving up some information.
well, I mean,
eventually,
eventually everybody's somebody's going to spill the beans.
yeah,
you know.
one of them is.
But that's fine
for the right payday.
That's fine because you're not watching it for that. You're watching it. I was watching it just to get to the point where Johnny Depp killed
Christopher Walken.
That was it. That
the
was
movie
the
understood
whole...
that though because they saved that to the very, very end, and it's funny because
they tease it though in a kind of cheap way.
Yeah, and before the governor comes out on stage the first time, because she's got, like I said, it's a parade of events. So Johnny was supposed to kill her in the ballroom where they're having a buffet. Then he showed up late for that, and Christopher Walken's almost like a discouraged event coordinator who's like, don't worry about it, don't worry. Okay, so we've got an entire schedule of things to choose
so
from.
ridiculous.
So next, she's going to be here. And so Johnny's now trying to kill her during one of her other speeches. And then there's like some big, huge speech that she's making at the end of the day.
See, I would like to see a movie like
I don't
this
know.
where the twist, because, at the beginning of the movie, you see, Roman Mafia and Christopher Walken, and they're like very, very good.
I want to know more about their relationship.
Like that these two are stone cold killers.
Have a crack
They've
at
done it a
Mr.
million times, et cetera, right? I would like to see the twist be where the Johnny Depp character realizes at about the beginning of Act 3
he can
that
hold
they're-
one of them hostage against the other.
No, where they're not actually as good at this as they seem to be, and
They're
I can.
not.
Yeah, I know, but where it's like that's the thing where wait a minute, no, fuck this. I can beat these guys. I'm just a normal dude. They're not that much better or smarter than me. I'm a smart guy. I'm going to fuck them.
He does realize that, and he starts hearing it from other sources, too. So the first time it happens is he grabs Christopher Walken's walkie-talkie as if that's going to change anything, like you said, because the girl's dying at 1:30 regardless.
Oh, yeah. Doesn't
so
matter.
He throws the walkie-talkie away, and when he realizes for sure that security is bought and paid for is when security comes over and hands Christopher Walken another of their infinite walkie-talkies. He's like, I don't have enough of these. Quit doing that. So,
also, walkie-talkies operate on I have a ham radio license. So one of the things I was going, I really hope that they're like, I'm just imagining like somebody in housekeeping, like cleaning a room, and the radio she has
housekeeping
and like starts to go off, and she's like, "Oh no,
I know,
hey, they're going to kill the governor."
Well, and it's the whole hotel staff. So Johnny's got all the staffers on his side eventually.
I know, it's like the Muppets.
It really is.
It's like Rizzo and all of his friends.
It's amazing because they all
get him.
For some reason, the shoeshine guy is like their de facto leader.
Yeah.
Even though shoeshiners don't typically work directly for those.
He's a disabled vet.
Yes, and he works in the lobby of the West End.
Yeah, and you kind of get the impression that he has this very over the top kind of like jokey, folksy attitude, and you kind of get the impression that that's his way of coping with whatever the hell happened to him. He lost his leg. Like, I got the impression that he was sort of a very serious guy who had done some serious shit, and now he's just sort of like, hey, I'm going to be folksy and friendly, and that's how I deal with, all this bad stuff that's in my head.
That and it earns him a living and gets him tips.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he ropes together all the hotel staff, and he's like, hey, this guy's in trouble. We've got to help him out. So it is very John McClane and
it's
Al.
It's
very
the
John
Goonies.
and Al. Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
But Al is the one who like, hey, mister, he thinks he's crazy at first. He's like, what's your problem? Throwing dead bodies off the Bonaventure? No, not really. But the veteran is sort of...
Welcome to the party, my friend.
The veteran is half deaf.
Yeah.
And that's what saves Johnny and sort of gets them in cahoots because
Christopher Walken falls for the dumbest ruse in history.
It's a ruse, you big dumb idiot, because he sits next to Johnny and he's like, why do you keep going to the shoeshine guy over and over and over again? As if that shouldn't be triggering alarm bells. And Johnny's like, oh, don't worry about it. He's deaf. And so, because the shoeshine guy thinks that Johnny's just ape shit.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, what is this guy on about? He's nuts. But then he hears Christopher Walken very much explaining, oh, yeah, we're going to murder this lady.
Yeah. Oh, he's deaf? Okay, well, in that case, then, so when we commit this felony...
And he has this great dad joke where he's like, $2 if it'll suit you. And he goes, it does not. I remember when it was 2 bits. And it's just shaving, a haircut. Not a shoeshine.
There are a couple of times when you can almost tell that it's a Christopher Walken ad lib because there's one part with the shoeshine guy where Christopher Walken sits and he hands Johnny Depp the radio. Mm-hmm. And this is after Johnny Depp had thrown a radio away.
He's proven that he cannot be trusted with the radio.
Well, he hands him the radio and he just, and I don't know why, but I kind of laugh because he's like, here, don't throw it away. And it's like, like
Tina, you lose everything.
That was not in the script. Christopher Walken just did that. And I hope he did because it's a great line.
It is. But and I wonder if one of my favorite lines of his in this movie was ad-libbed, because when he first takes Johnny hostage and starts threatening Lynn, Watson tells him, you're out of your mind. And Mr. Smith responds, what's your point?
Yeah.
I think that was the best one in the whole movie.
Well,
he doesn't get a lot of snappy dialogue. You can tell that they tried to make him that guy, but it didn't take off.
See, what I would have loved is if the Christopher Walken
Johnny's taking me hostage. Oh, no.
Because there's a part where he says to Christopher Walken, like, he's explaining about this guy that he loved.
Yes, I actually have that.
That he killed.
And he's like, black Irishman.
Yeah, but he's like, if I could do that to somebody I love.
I have it. I'll make gravy out of your little girl just to season that black Irish cocksucker's meat.
Yeah. And the point, but the point of it is, he's saying, this is somebody I loved. If I could kill somebody I love,
imagine what I could do to you.
And I would have loved it if at the end Christopher Walken was a complete fucking fraud. And John, to me, that would have been so much more interesting if it would have been
there was no black Irishman?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like if it had just come down to the fact that, like, wait a minute, you're a fucking nobody. You're a fucking con artist.
Well, you get that
know?
vibe. I don't think they felt the need to hammer it home because you get the vibe. I think it was the head of security guy where he was like, God, you're the one. Oh, no, maybe Brendan. It doesn't matter. But they were like, you're the one who had to get all creative and kidnap a guy off the street for this
Yeah,
crap.
exactly.
You couldn't have just shot her in the face.
Yeah,
like,
the
they
guy-
get frustrated with him, too.
Yeah, because I said high-powered rifle.
Yeah,
shooter.
from a distance. One done.
Yeah.
Like, out of there.
No,
but no.
no. I have a much better idea.
And I thought, like, that's another thing that could have come full circle that didn't, because before he dies, actually, I think when Watson shoots him the first time, because he shoots him 3 times, but he said, "Oh, see, I told him I'd make a murderer out of you," like, and
A killer.
whatever.
Yeah.
And there was clearly some story going on there that they could have taken advantage of in the script, where like maybe they showed it where they're like, Mr. Smith, you don't need this big elaborate plan, and he's like, I'll bet you.
Yeah.
But no,
it's not there. And I actually thought, you know what would have been great? Just fucking awesome in that scene. Christopher Walken, he's been shot by Johnny Depp, and he says, I told them I could make a killer out of you. And how awesome would it have been if Johnny Depp had looked at him and said, what makes you think you're the first person I've killed? And then just pops him in the forehead. And then the whole movie is different.
That's so fat, man. Do you really think you're the first person to try?
And all of a sudden, the whole movie would sort of make more sense.
Sequel. And then you've got a series.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because I was watching this thinking,
the main bad guy got away.
It felt like a pilot.
Yeah, it did.
It honestly
It
felt like a pilot.
Tarzan in Manhattan.
Yeah.
It's set up for another story.
Because you've got this guy, they're not going to make a sequel, you know? So it feels, why let the mystery man get away? It's kind of a nice touch, but it
because then he could have been the John McClane type character, because if he's a killer, like maybe he was the guy who was sent to throw a wrench into this plan, and he just knew the things to do to get picked, and it's just this even more elaborate ruse, you big dumb idiot.
Right,
and
yeah.
So then, the main bad guy gets away.
Oh,
Johnny's
there's not
still
Bryan
alive.
Cranston.
Yeah, the poor man's Bryan
Yeah,
Cranston.
dollar store Bryan Cranston.
The Pollos Hermanos.
Yeah,
Bryan
who is the governor's husband is dollar store Bryan Cranston.
Yes.
That's not fair. He's a good actor.
He looks like Bryan Cranston and Greg Kinnear, and who plays
and Gary Cole.
Gary Cole.
Yeah.
Yes, you know where I was going with that. It's the hair.
Because he's dressed exactly like Lumbergh.
All right, Johnny, here's the thing. You're going to kill somebody and the police are involved. Do you want pizza?
Yeah. Where's my assistant? Yeah.
How many
she's
lines
on
do you-
an errand.
He could have pulled a total Gary Cole and be like, how many walkie-talkies do people have? Would have been amazing. But the poor assistant, this is where she dies, because she thinks she's saving this poor man. She trusted him. She went out on a limb for him. And, oh, man, remember when 90s women's clothing actually had pockets? No, that doesn't happen anymore.
Look, I've said for ages the height of women's fashion was in the
90s. Yeah, but she's not doing the Courtney Cox sundress with the white sneakers.
No, I just mean just in
anything.
general.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was a good time.
2020s pantsuits. No, pantsuits back then were better looking.
Absolutely.
Just gonna say it.
The onesies that women are running around in these days. They call them rompers, but they're onesies. It's annoying. But Johnny, and we haven't gotten to this moment yet. It's about to happen. And I had to mention this because I wrote it down just for you, Jason. Johnny has a hypoxic hallucination.
Yes, he does.
Because so Christopher Walken comes in. Oh no, I didn't make it to a safe zone. Everybody's in on it, and Christopher Walken starts choking Johnny the F out really, really hard. And so Johnny starts hallucinating, and you're meant to think that it's not a hallucination.
Oh yeah,
he's running through the hallway. It seems realistic for a second. And everything,
which is kind of cheap. I actually didn't like this.
I didn't either, but I came full circle when I realized it was hypoxic. So Johnny's getting choked out. He ends up falling over the balcony and almost falling to his death.
Well, he kills Christopher Walken.
Kills Christopher Walken. No, but Christopher Walken keeps appearing, so it's like a bad dream. It's like Carnival of Souls, because you think you've gotten away from the bad thing, but no, it just keeps chasing you over and over again.
And I don't know. I felt like it was sort of just that scene didn't do anything. It didn't service the plot. It was kind of interesting, but
that
then
was
when
a
you're
lot of this movie.
Yeah, it definitely could have been.
That is such a wig. It's so painful that that's a wig on Christopher Walken's head.
That's fine. The mustache is real. We haven't even talked about the mustache.
Oh my God, that
it's
epic
glorious.
mustache.
I mean, Christopher Walken has one of the best mustaches ever.
And
in
thank God that no one else can shoot in this hallucination because they're.
Well, they can't shoot in real life either.
That's true. Yeah, nobody who actually is accustomed to a gun can even mark Johnny. It's really funny.
Yeah.
But
he looks like after Christopher Walken comes back from the dead, he looks like what's his name? Mr. Rooney from Ferris Bueller.
Jeffrey Jones.
Jeffrey Jones. He looks like Jeffrey Jones.
A little bit, yeah. When he's had the tar kicked out of him and he's riding the bus at the end of the day all defeated. I'm defeated. But he throws Johnny off the balcony.
So Johnny Depp hallucinated the one-liner that Christopher Walken said after he threw him off the balcony?
Which is?
I don't even remember.
Oh, man. But I suppose, yeah, because this is in that cheap falling effect where he's just like, and clearly there's like a background.
Time flies.
But, yeah, so.
What kind of a shitty movie would use that as a one-liner?
Many of them.
Sorry, I was just staring at Daniel Craig.
Rachel Weisz is somewhere on set.
You know what you did.
Oh my!
All right, that movie sucked.
Oh wow! So on that note, do we need to take a break?
Yes, we do. We
do. Well, hindsighters, we will be back in 1 second.
And we're back.
Hi.
And we're up to the part where I think Christopher Walken's going to go. Are you going to see the president of the Chase Manhattan Bank come out and tell me?
No, that would be Catch Me If You Can, Jason.
Oh, okay. Is this the one where he talks about the watch up his ass?
This is the one where he goes into a fallout shelter for 40 years.
Oh, yeah.
In the 50s.
Yeah. What Christopher Walken movie can we connect to this to make it
work?
Yeah.
Sleepy Hollow, no.
Yeah, it's the Headless Horseman.
Yeah, this was his life before he became headless.
No, this is after. So he's reincarnated.
In hell?
And he keeps coming back. Yeah.
Okay.
Except he's not very good at it. Well, he wasn't really very good at it back then either. Johnny Depp beat him then, too.
Speaking of good, isn't the show just so much better with just two people in it?
I know. I was actually about to say, the flow is so much. It's easier to light. The camera works better.
Life is just simpler when there's only two people around. But what are you gonna do about that? Oh my God! Hi, Adam.
Hey guys.
We were just talking about you. Hey, Cardenio, what's up? Welcome back. We missed you so much.
You should call him and see if we can get him in.
Oh my God!
Just see if we could just Bluetooth him on.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah, give him a call. Let's see.
All right, Mr. Brown. Let's see if he's around.
And let me see if
this is some inside baseball stuff right here. Do I need to put him on speaker or?
Yeah, well, here, let me see.
Bluetooth is connected too.
Do. Let's see. Okay.
Exciting days of radio.
All right. So it should be paired.
Theoretically speaking.
All right. Is it ringing?
I can't tell because it's connected to your Rodecaster Pro. Rodecaster? Sorry. Rode.
Not Rodecaster?
I don't know.
Oh my God. Jesus. You see what I have to deal with?
You're the sound equipment guy. I'm the talent.
You talk, I'll try to get him online.
I can talk all you want. So we're in the lobby of the Westin. I'm just going to narrate.
There we go.
Johnny's making about his 4th or 5th trip to the shoeshine.
Okay.
Did we get...
All right,
he hung up on me.
All right, I'm gonna call him back.
I heard that.
I'm gonna call him back now. We'll see.
I think
we'll see if it rings.
Hear us, so he was trying to stay on.
Here, let's see if it rings.
Mr. Brown.
It says it's paired, so we should be able to.
Oh, here we go.
Hello.
It's about to
reach Adam Brown and change talk here.
Darn it. That's disappointing. Well, if he calls us back, we'll see.
All right.
We tried to involve you.
We did our best.
Yes, we did. So
he'll call back in a few minutes, I'm sure.
Without question, because he stayed on the line, I think, unless it just didn't connect. But I don't know.
I think it was his voicemail prompt.
On the Rodecaster. Yeah. Anyway, so we've gotten to the point where the shoeshinist is deeply involved in the plot now. He's gotten all the hotel staff.
We're full on toy soldiers now.
Yes, we are.
We're, Louis Gossett Jr. is going to get involved.
I don't think Johnny's as good of a fighter as Sean Astin, but
Will Wheaton's going to get killed.
After they call him a wop, it's going to get very emotional.
Boy, that would make the movie. That would make every movie better.
If Will Wheaton got killed.
Pick any movie that wasn't any good, that sucked, that you hated.
And kill Will Wheaton.
Yeah. Prometheus, just cut in Will Wheaton getting shot.
Well,
and all of a sudden it's like, hey.
You probably won't remember, but when I was on vacation a few months ago, I sent you guys the poster for a horrible monster movie about this lab altered snake, and it was eating people kind of anaconda style because it was gigantic, and it killed Will Wheaton. And I was like, Jason would love that. So yeah, you're just proving my point.
That works for me.
Absolutely.
Because he's a complete twat. Moving on.
I had nothing to do with that portion of the evening, but yeah. So
hang on,
I love this express detail with how they press shirts.
Well, yeah, they show this thing where it's like this montage of people doing laundry. And it's almost like it's establishing, are they going to somehow make weapons out of, Like,
is it
I
going
know
to
what
be
we'll
useful?
do.
Absolutely not. They
do.
do.
None of this has anything to do with anything.
They make full circle comments with no establishment, and they establish so much stuff without making it come full circle.
Yeah, it
makes no sense.
Yeah,
it's aggravating.
It is kind of weird how they do that, especially with the whole, with the line. Like I told them I can make a killer out of you. Because I don't think that was actually in the movie. Well, it's the 90s. Everybody looked
That's
good
what
in
I'm
the 90s.
saying. Well, at this point, Johnny was 32 in 95.
Yeah.
So, he's a little younger than I am now, and he looks awfully sharp.
If there had been a movie made in about 98 with Johnny Depp and Jennifer Connelly, it would have been
You and I would just watch it on loop
I
together.
mean, that'd be it. It'd be,
the height of entertainment.
Great. I don't even, who cares what it's about? Pirates of the Dark City. Who fucking cares? Whatever.
Pirates of the Top Gun.
Oh, that's what they should have done.
There's your song.
No, what they should have done is when they made The Rocketeer, Johnny Depp should have played The Rocketeer. That would have been
That would have been awesome. Yeah. But before we leave the Top Gun crossover,
I don't know where that came from.
It's okay. We don't have to explain ourselves or qualify our time to our listeners. But I have a story for you and Adam, so I hope he listens to this episode because it involves Top Gun. Apparently, Miles Teller, the kid who plays Goose's son in Top Gun Maverick,
Baby Goose.
Baby Goose. All right.
Should have been Ryan Gosling.
No.
Yeah.
That was so bad it actually took me a moment. Oh God. But what's good for the goose is good for the gosling.
Yeah, they should have called him Gander.
Oh God.
Anyhow,
Miles Teller apparently experienced something that happens to a lot of pilots. He broke out in hives or something when one of the planes landed, and they took him to the doctor, got his blood tested, and he had actual jet fuel in his bloodstream. And so he comes back to set, and Tom was like, "Hey Miles, you okay? What'd they find out?" And he goes, "Oh Johnny, there's jet fuel in my blood." And Tom Cruise, without missing a damn beat, goes, "I was born with jet fuel in my blood, kid." And I was just like, oh, for the love of God.
How great is it that we are living in a full-blown Tom Cruise renaissance?
Oh, it's awesome.
It's amazing. It's like the greatest living actor is now Tom Cruise.
It's not as good as Robert Downey Jr.'s because there wasn't some devastating fall where there was sympathy involved, because Tom just went crazy with Scientology and he got a little iffy, whereas Robert, you wanted
I don't know, man. You go back now and you look at some of the shit Tom Cruise said years ago, and
I'm in love with Katie Holmes.
Yeah.
God. Jumping up and down on Oprah's couch. My God, you dramatic fool.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, if I'd been in that position, I probably would have.
Well, yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah. Of course, it would have been more like, I got a date with Katie Holmes.
Yeah, most men would have. But at any rate, I had to
fact
tell you
check, implausible.
I did. Sir, that is simply not likely. But we're at the pivotal moment where Johnny finally gets access to the governor and confesses the plan.
Which is relatively easy.
Yeah, they just take him up the speakeasy elevator that, the public doesn't use.
He gets a key and he does, they didn't do the thing where he knocks out, a Nazi and takes his uniform.
Right.
They didn't go that direction with it.
It wasn't that. They made passbolts out of jam. They're going to hide up behind the kibbutz. That's the new entrance to the governor's suite.
Oh, also, back in the 90s, it was kind of annoying. For those of you who are younger and you weren't in the 90s, it was one of the most irritating. You'll probably remember this. It was so irritating how every time you looked at a clock, it beeped. It didn't beep just normally, but every time you looked at a clock and the minute changed, it made a beep sound.
And most people don't realize that those non-analog, those digital clocks actually sort of ticked, like you could hear them if you were quiet enough.
Or also computers in the 90s. Anytime you did anything on computers in the 90s, they beeped constantly.
Yeah, they
You know,
made
it was very annoying.
unnecessary noise.
Yeah, it's a lot better nowadays.
It is. Like, I saw a meme to that effect where it was like, oh yeah, back when cell phones first became popular, I spent like $90 on ringtones, and now in 2022 my phone's been on silent for the last 10 years.
You remember that, paying for ringtones?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I remember paying for songs,
Yeah.
for ringtones.
I got some Metallica on my phone. Now whenever somebody calls, it plays
Just
Back in Black.
It was so worth that 99 cents.
Here, listen to it. Beep, 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 beep.
I remember having to work
I
really
paid $2 for that.
I remember having to work really hard to record Peter Griffin singing Rock Lobster on Family Guy to be my voicemail. And I was so proud of it. Some people loved it. My mother hated it.
Yeah, moms hate
was
that shit.
Awesome.
Yeah, moms hate that shit.
What if an employer calls you? Well, then they better appreciate a good sense of humor, Mom.
Death
That's
to
all I have to tell
America
you.
and butter sauce.
Rock Lobster. But yeah, so Johnny, he's had about 40,000 chances to kill the governor. So you can tell that he's definitely against the idea. So that's good.
But his hair still looks good.
Oh, his hair looks fantastic.
And that was the weird thing. It's funny because I was about to make it, sort of the normal joke, the whole movie, but their hair looks fine the whole time. But most of the actors did the entire movie with almost no makeup.
Really?
It was all very minimal. I didn't
know this.
That's why it's strange that it cost $33 million and that had to just be salaries.
I'm guessing it was mostly salaries and set, because if they're actually using the hotel, which it seems like they
did.
are.
Yeah, oh yeah, they filmed pretty
okay.
much the whole movie
then
was filmed
I would
at the
say
hotel.
that, it was probably very costly to use that hotel.
It's a good example of...
Lynn has bangs. Those were popular in the 90s, hindsighters, for those of you who don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a regular small wonder, which was an 80s thing, but
Well, she's just a cute little 90s kid, and she's got her teddy bear. And you think the teddy bear might be a full circle thing?
I've had
No.
nightmares about sitting on the toilet and Christopher Walken trying to come in. I mean, that's literally something that wakes me up at night.
You're taking too
I'm
long.
trying to poop.
Can you get the hell out of there? We've got dinner reservations, Jason.
Wash your hands.
That was great. So Johnny comes in. So,
but it's only there to...
We haven't filled them in as to what the hell is happening. So the way Johnny got up to the hotel suite of the governor is that the shoeshine is convinced one of the catering guys in the hotel to swap outfits with Johnny so that he would look like a hotel staffer. And so meanwhile, this poor staffer is sitting there pretending to take a number two. And
like an epic number two.
Yeah, because it goes on for like 45 minutes. And he's sitting there in Johnny's clothes. And there's this huge moment where they treat it like there's high stakes. I guess the guy who's posing as Johnny would have been killed if the stall slid all the way open.
I'm very, very glad that you had the same reaction I did.
I made a point to ask you about that because I was like, what were the stakes there? Were they just going to shoot the other guy who was taking a dump?
Well, no, exactly. Like, were they going to see him in there and go...
We just figured out that you guys swapped costumes, and we... just seeing another man in there would not have helped them piece together that Johnny just blew up their plan.
No, it really wouldn't have.
So once again, the script has so many holes in it.
It really,
so much setup with no payoff, and so much payoff with no setup. So, at any rate, the governor is finally, trying to convince her husband, I don't want to speechify this afternoon. And she does discover that Gary Cole is, in fact, betraying her.
Yeah.
So, because he does send her assistant
I'm going to
on
need
an
you
errand.
to go ahead and do that speech.
This is...
it's like, it's Bryan Cranston Cole.
Yeah.
Brian Gary Cranston Cole. No, it's...
I love it.
It's
Sergeant Basco. I don't want to do my speech today. I'm tired.
It is amazing how long Gary Cole has been a part of sort of my own personal zeitgeist. The dude had a TV... I mean, he's been doing TV since the 80s.
What did you first see Gary Cole in that, tipped you off to liking him?
The first thing I saw him in that I liked, there was a show called
I was about to say, because it can't have been Office Space. And that's what most people know him for now.
I will. There was a show called...
Show your work. Do your research. So, yes, we reach the pivotal moment. The governor realizes that Brendan is part of the plot to murder her. And there's so many people... Like right now, he could kill her and blame it on somebody else because they're alone in her hotel suite. It would be so easy for him to murder his wife and get away with it because the only witness who's in the other room is the other guy who definitely wants the governor dead.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if it's just a real like rigmarole of people who don't want to get their hands dirty doing this damn thing, but it should have just been Christopher Walken first thing in the morning. I got it.
Oh,
you do?
It was a show. It started in 1998. It was called Midnight Caller.
Okay. I have no idea what the show is.
I think it was on like 2 seasons. It didn't last very long, but it did get renewed at least once. And it was Gary Cole played a guy who was a radio. He had a radio talk show thing, but it was like late at night. And I remember he had like a headset, and he would kind of pace around, and people would call in.
Okay.
And they would tell him like, well, I got this, like there's this thing going on where this guy's, he's murdering people or whatever. And those were the good episodes. A lot of the episodes were like,
Kolchak-ish.
Well, no, a lot of them were more like, emotionally, oh, somebody has AIDS.
Everyone has AIDS.
And it's
AIDS,
like,
AIDS.
those were like, wow, that's really, get rid of those. I want to hear about the murder ones.
Yeah,
and it was
make
a
it
really cool.
exciting.
It was a really cool concept.
Okay.
And so 88. Yeah,
Oh,
so
the year I was born.
I was 9 years old.
I was
first time I saw.
I was
Now,
a little baby.
The first time I saw Gary Cole and thought he's fucking awesome was when he was on a spinoff. People don't realize this. Gary Cole was the star of a Babylon 5 spinoff called Crusade, where he played the captain of a ship.
And he has that look. That's the thing about Gary Cole.
It was great.
He's such a brilliant character actor
he's the best.
who can
Gary Cole's a genius.
blend in everywhere with minimal effort. So like he's Ricky Bobby's dad. He's Sergeant Bosco. He's the boss on Office Space.
He can do anything.
He can do anything, but once again with minimal effort. He doesn't have to like change his face or wear a mask or change his hair color.
He could play Queen Elizabeth II.
He could.
And it would come across and you'd go, I
respect the attempt.
And Gary Cole's Queen Elizabeth,
but
by
he
far
also,
the best.
To that end, he's got the looks.
Way better than Helen Mirren.
He's just about got the looks of, a leading man, too. So I could see him starring as, like, the captain of a ship in his own series. But I can also see him as Ricky Bobby's dad getting a bucket of water thrown on him. So, or
Harvey Birdman, attorney at law.
Yeah. I can see him as just about anything because he's so talented.
I love that this movie, the conversation about
Cole
this
podcast.
movie, is a conversation about
this
Gary
week
Cole.
On Gary Cole. So we've reached the crux of the movie. So what happens, Jason?
The denouement.
The denouement.
Well, he's told the governor, look, if you come in, if you're in here, I'm going to have to shoot you because, my little girl, etc. And
he's reached his boiling point where he was like, I've done everything that I can do in good conscience.
Well, he tells Christopher Walken, and it comes across as totally believable. Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go kill her.
He says, I'm going to do what I have to do.
Yeah.
Because he's given the governor every opportunity. He's tried multiple times to save her. And this is definitely so the Westin because they've got those cement spiral stairs too that they were just walking down. And the spiral stairs come full circle. Because
they're fucking hell.
Oh, are you quitting on me? That's all right. Adam will stay with me. But so Johnny's in the ballroom.
That was a pretty bad joke.
I didn't like it. You're not. Are you unsupporting me again?
Kill him. Shove us down his throat.
Darth Jader seems to like making dad jokes. She must be corrected. What do you mean? Killed. You're a mean little nightlight.
If you're good Coochie Gobi, who's he? Well, I don't want to say.
You're a mean little co-host, Jason.
I thought I could use something buttonish about here.
So Brendan Gary Cole is up on stage and he's
Dick Cheney is watching.
Yes, he's making the worst
I was going to say
jokes.
Evil Dick Cheney, but you don't actually have to do that.
I mean,
did you say Dick Cheney?
At least this guy didn't shoot anybody in the face.
That's true. This guy, so far as we know, has not shot anybody with a shotgun.
He's in on a murder plot, and he still hasn't shot anybody in the face.
And never got us involved in a war in Iraq or Afghanistan. So
moving right along. But Brendan is saying just the worst husband jokes ever, where he's like, "What can I say about my wife? Then I'm not going to pay for her later this afternoon." He does it multiple times, and it's just cringy bad. And Johnny's waiting for his moment where he has to go up and shoot the governor.
Yeah.
And what does he do instead? Because he just now heard the pivotal line, which was that.
But it doesn't make any. Yeah, I know. The
There's
pivotal
no
line
signal
is
for the walkie-talkies.
The walkie-talkies aren't going to work.
Meaning Christopher Walken can't call the kill order for Roma Mafia to murder his daughter.
But even in the movie, Roma Mafia specifically picks up the radio at the appointed hour and says,
she's like, it's 1:30.
Hey, I'm going to do it.
I didn't hear from you.
Okay, I didn't hear from you. I'm going to go ahead and do it.
Time to murder the kid. And so, yeah, she is. And it's lucky that, because Johnny points out to the shoeshiners, he's like, and this is before he even has the guy on his side. He's like, listen, and this is what the shoeshiner really thinks he's crazy, because he's like, no matter what happens to me today, no matter what goes down, remember, there's a little girl in that van. And so the shoeshiner's just like, what? And, and so he ends up
I kept imagining Forrest Whitaker from Rogue One. I don't know why.
You know, I can actually see it. Yeah, you got to give him the Forrest Whitaker. See, we do a little community with our Bob's Burgers.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, the shoeshiner, he actually goes out and confronts Roma Mafia because he remembers Johnny telling him there's a little girl in the van and her life is at stake. And so he goes out, and it's all this ruse where he's like, I'm going to give you a nice windshield shine and clean up
classic
your car.
90s. Very classic 90s shtick.
And they do, like, this movie was what? It had to be rated R because they say fuck, like, twice.
I actually got the impression that they said fuck just to get the rating.
I think so, because other than that, because Christopher Walken could have been so much more, like, lewd and just horrible to Johnny. Speech-wise, but Roma Mafia is the only one. She says, like, get away from here, I'm not paying you. And he's like, you're really gonna, cheat me out of $1? And she goes, fucking A. And it's just so shoehorned.
Yeah, it's
like, you don't need
so crammed in there. And it's funny because even back in, like, in the 90s, it was a known fact that if you made a movie that wasn't very box office, good, you didn't want the R rating. You wanted a PG-13.
Right.
Because then the teenagers would go see it.
Right.
If you were going to do the thing where it's like, oh, let's get an R rating, Well,
they might have thought, like, I think they might have relied a little too hard on Christopher Walken and Johnny drawing in the initial wave of attendees. I think that's the problem because, like I said earlier, that's 2 generations of fans you've got because Johnny's established by 1995. People know who he is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, totally.
Like, even if you've got teeny bopper girls coming in to watch this movie.
Well, did he got nominated for an Academy Award by that point? I think Ed Wood, didn't he get a nomination?
That's a good question.
I don't know for sure, but I mean, even if he didn't get the nomination, he was the star of a Tim Burton movie, and Tim Burton in the 90s was a really, really big fucking deal.
He was.
And,
No, Johnny wasn't even, it looks like that Martin Landau.
Well, yeah, that's true. Martin Landau.
For supporting role, Martin Landau, Golden Globe.
One of the greatest acting jobs in the history of cinema was Martin Landau in that movie.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. I'm so broke. But, yeah.
Help me, Eddie.
So, Johnny does not shoot at the governor. Christopher Walken's in a little window booth waiting for Johnny to shoot at her, but instead, Johnny shoots Christopher Walken, or tries to shoot Christopher Walken. And
never going to make that shot.
Chaos ensues.
Best marksman in the world isn't going to make that shot.
He came close. He broke the window.
He
hit
the window,
from over like 50 feet away and 20 feet down.
Yeah.
So that was impressive. But what the governor finally, like, I guess it sinks in, even though Johnny tells her, try to reschedule the speech. They won't let you. And then she knows that her husband's doing wrong. But then when he thinks she's been shot, one of her like aides or her security guard that isn't bought and paid for runs and shields her and gets shot in his vest.
Which he
gets shot in the arm and protects her, and so her husband still stupidly thinks that she's dead.
Doesn't check for a pulse or anything.
He's just like caressing the top of her head, and he's like, "Oh, honey, your big heart is the reason why this happened to you," or something like that. And she just wakes up and goes.
Well, it's funny
like
because
it's a surprise.
Yeah, he does one of those things that if it was written if Shakespeare had written it in a play where a bad guy would have just confessed upon seeing what he thought was his dead wife, no one would have said, "Will, come on, man."
But she didn't get shot.
But they do it in this movie, and it's like, dude.
In the watch. Okay, there's some setup. Like, I guess that was back to the nick of time thing. Because we didn't even talk about it.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that.
The intro to the movie is like 5 minutes long because it's still the 90s when you do that.
Yeah.
Which
I'm fine with. Yeah, I liked it.
Well, you and I came up during that time where the intro, you knew it was going to be all the credits in the beginning.
Yeah.
Nowadays, they don't really do that, but it was all these creepy clocks, including like a little bear clock with these
cat.
huge creepy... Oh, was it a cat or a bear?
No, you're right. It was a bear.
Okay,
Yeah, it
and
was a bear.
either way, it was almost Tim Burton-esque, and they made a huge deal out of who conducted the music for this movie, because they mentioned him a lot.
You know, the whole thing was Christopher Walken is using time to control Johnny Depp. And the weird thing is, you see the watch fly off Christopher Walken's
when
hand.
Johnny jumps down the stairs, because he does jump down the stairs on him, and that does come full circle.
Yeah.
He tackles him, they fall down, the watch falls off of his wrist.
Yeah, and it's sort of like, okay, well, that worked because it's sort of symbolic of, you know, well, now Christopher Walken no longer has this control over Johnny. So that worked.
Right.
But then they do a weird thing where the mystery man walks out of the
Steps on
hotel
the watch.
and it's very deliberate. He steps and he completely destroys the watch.
Maybe because he's like the puppet master controlling the whole plan, but when he steps on it, I don't know. I think I'm reaching.
Yeah, I don't know that you are. I think you're on the right. It's the only interpretation.
Yeah, because I mean,
that he's pulled the plug.
He gives up and leaves. But this is the fight scene. We're gonna have a fight scene. So earlier in the movie,
Why did she shoot him in the leg?
I don't know.
And it just happened to hit him in his. Imagine how pissed off he would have been if it had hit him in his good leg.
Seriously. Oh, now I need another wooden leg.
That's what I was thinking. Like he shoot him in the other leg and he gets really mad. Like, God damn it!
This was unnecessary. But earlier, so the one of the few payoffs.
Motherfucker.
One of the few payoffs is that he mentions Johnny Depp's wingtips, and he's like, "Oh, these are quality shoes. You can't go wrong with a good wingtip."
Aged like iron.
And he mentions his wooden leg, and so those things do come full circle. So now Roma Mafia is fighting with the shoeshiner as she shoots him in the leg, so he doesn't get hurt because it is his wooden leg. And then she's tackled him on the ground, and you think he's gonna lose, but he grabs the gun, they grapple, and then he smacks her with his broken wooden leg with the wingtip in the face, and he's like, "Love me a good wingtip."
Yeah, and he kisses it too. Yeah, which is weird. Okay, so here's the problem I have with the Johnny Depp, Christopher Walken sort of dating them all at the end, right?
Yeah.
It's an R-rated movie. And I'm not saying that I love gore in movies.
I know you don't, actually.
But it's not very satisfying. Like,
no, it's not satisfying
He
whatsoever.
shoots Christopher Walken. Christopher Walken gets a blood spot on his shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And then Johnny Depp shoots him a couple more times, but there's like not even any more blood.
Well, there could have been payoff once again to that moment because Christopher Walken, when he's talking about his black Irish friend that he killed, he makes a big point out of mentioning that he's a black Irishman. Like, I don't know why. But
Like, the screenwriter probably thought he was being so clever.
I guess.
You
But
know.
Christopher Walken does make a point out of saying that he shot that guy 3 times just to be sure. You know,
Once in the eye.
Yeah, once in the eye. And then I shot him 2 more times.
I know. I almost wanted to say, you probably didn't need to, though. I mean, that actually was excessive.
Yeah.
Like, if you'd shot him twice and then shot him in the eye.
Because even Josh, when Johnny was shooting Christopher, he was after like time number 2, he goes, "Oh, well, now it's murder."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Thanks, babe. What a good interjection that was."
Well, that's why, like the Dalai Lama says, 2 in the face. Wait, shit, what is it?
2 in the head, you know they're dead.
Okay, 2 in the head. Because what's the other one? 2 in the chest, the face gets the rest.
I've never heard that one.
I've heard that one too.
That's a new one for me.
Yeah, the Dalai Lama talks about this shit all the time. I didn't know.
But they tried to space it out a little bit too much. So Johnny does actually beat on Christopher Walken a little bit. He jumps down into the stairwell, and he and Christopher Walken are kind of flailing and fighting each other. But there's no satisfaction to that either because there's no grace. There's no like real intent to it. There's no know-how. He just jumps on him.
Yeah.
And they roll down the stairs, and then Christopher Walken somehow beats him to the van.
Yeah.
So that was a little confusing.
That didn't clock either. I think if it had been more of like a Liam Neeson-y sort of thing, and I hate to say this because, again, look, violence, movies, storytelling, the Greeks did this centuries ago. They understood, there are certain things you do in storytelling that makes your audience leave feeling satisfied. One of it is the whole catharsis thing, where you have a character who goes up against odds and just beats the crap out of the bad guys, and it's the catharsis. You feel like you've been
Especially
fighting the bad guys.
when you make such a meal of the bad guys, good time torturing the or the bad guys torturing the good guy, which Christopher Walken does throughout this movie.
Yeah.
And so you're ready for Christopher Walken to die at Johnny Depp's hand, but then they have that. It was a pretty typical action movie thing where, okay, they put Christopher Walken down. That's it. But then there's this convenient bullet hole in the back or the side of the van where Roma Mafia is, she's defeated. The day is not won. Yeah. Nothing that they needed to.
There's
be done
no value
is done,
to killing the girl at this
but
point.
she's trying to.
Yeah.
So fortunately, the shoe shiner smacks her in the head with his wooden leg / wingtip shoe, kisses his shoe. Great. And so she can't kill the girl, but for a second you think she's going to until the shoe shiner comes and saves the day.
I think that would actually it would have worked more for that if she had seen that her boss was out.
Yeah.
And the plans go, and she should have tried to escape, and then Huey should have gotten her.
Was that his name, Huey?
Yeah, and I only know that because I just saw it in the credits. Yeah,
okay.
But I think that would have worked better.
Maybe.
I'm sort of thinking back to similar time period, Patriot Games.
Yeah, because the thing is, you don't have the same hatred build up for Roma Mafia as you do for Christopher Walken. Well, no, because
I hated her.
It might have been different if she was mean to the little girl and, denied her things. Because sometimes you see, even you're going to love this comparison.
Why did the $100,000 pyramid get a special thanks? Was there any point in the movie where the 100,000? Did I miss that?
I don't think so. I think it must have been cut, but they probably.
What the hell?
I don't know.
Was there a scene where Christopher Walken was on the $100,000?
That's what his appointment was for. Johnny Depp was supposed to be on the pyramid.
Be on a game show.
And because we literally don't. It wasn't
random credit.
Because it wasn't super clear why he was in L.A. In the cab, he does mention oh yeah, my wife had asked for a divorce.
I'm the new manager of Binnigan's.
I was here for a funeral, so you don't. I don't know. I must have missed something, but either way, they're in LA.
I did too.
But with Roma Mafia, she doesn't torture the little girl while she's watching her. She doesn't deny her anything or fuck with her like in Ace Ventura when they were throwing the football at the dolphin and making it uncomfortable and scared. And I was like, okay, those guys need their comeuppance. Snowflake didn't do anything to those guys. Roma Mafia didn't do that to his little girl. She was like, okay, sweetie, okay, honey, let's play a game or you go to sleep.
Oh no, I wanted that bitch dead.
I mean,
bad. I wanted her dead.
I didn't want her dead as bad as I wanted Christopher Walken,
clearly not as bad. But I was
thinking, mess with Johnny and you're going down.
Yeah,
Amber.
Because I was. it's okay.
She discovered.
It's okay. The entire planet is on your side.
Doesn't
that a good feeling?
I don't know. I don't even want to act like it was like a platform for me because you remember this. I said how sad I was when I realized how publicized that court case was going to be. I was like, this is going to ruin so much.
Oh yeah.
And it violates both of their privacy. At the end of the day, it's just a horrible violation of their privacy. And some of
shouldn't have been televised.
I tried to avoid it as much as possible because I knew I was going to hear things that were just going to potentially ruin Johnny for me. And some of the texts that came up during that
human being.
He is, and that's what I have to tell myself. I'm just like, you know what? She's dragging him through the mud. She's trying to ruin his life. But some of the things he was saying about her, I was like, oh Jesus, that's rough.
It's like Frank Herbert said: the worst point in a man's life is when he realizes that his dad is just another person.
Yeah.
And it's a good lesson. You realize people are just people.
Well,
but what I was going to say though about Patriot Games, because I was thinking satisfying every man versus trained bad guy kills, and you can do it quick because in Patriot Games it's a very I don't know if you've ever seen.
No.
Well, I'm gonna ruin it for you.
Do it. I dare you.
Scene Bean or Sean Bond, however you want to say his name.
Rodicaster.
Yeah, which I hate because I love Sean Bean. He's one of my all-time favorite actors.
I want to put him in a happy movie where nothing happens.
I know. Wouldn't it be great to see him in a movie where it's like
he doesn't die a horrible death,
and he's good,
and he's got a dog that doesn't die. Everything. Just give him a great. It's a good news daily.
And he's helping people and being awesome. He was actually in a series.
I want him to be in a movie where he plays himself and he gets cast in movies where he doesn't die.
Yeah.
I want him to be in that movie.
So it's the Sean Bean show.
Yes.
No, but Sean Bean
Truman,
in
but better.
Patriot Games, he plays a bad guy. And they do a very quick kill where Harrison Ford kills the bad guy, but it's sudden, but the nature of it, because they're basically, it ends with them being on like a Zodiac boat and they're fighting, and Harrison Ford takes Sean Bean and I don't remember if he pushes him or if he like falls on him, but there's a boat anchor behind Sean Bean, and you've got the two blades of the boat anchor sticking up. It's lashed to the deck of the Zodiac.
It can be quick.
And he does, and he just but it's so horrible to imagine falling back on a boat anchor that you get the catharsis.
Same thing in Disney's Tarzan. I knew you were gonna laugh. Laugh you should, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because Clayton, for those of you who have not seen Disney's Tarzan, I'm going to ruin that for you. So spoiler alert, Clayton, the guy with the gun that Tarzan imitates, like he associates the sound of a gunshot with Clayton. Clayton hangs, snaps his neck at the end of the movie, and you don't see it. You see his shadow being cast against the trunk of a tree, but it's so lightning fast that some people were like, oh my God, when I was a kid, I didn't even notice that. And it's horrifying now because it's a blistering reality.
It gets you, you've got a human reaction to it, as
but
opposed
it's over.
to
and he's a very bad man, and he was hurting all the animals, and but snap, and it's over. So I'm agreeing with you. It can happen really quickly and still be satisfying. But
it's actually interesting though. In Patriot Games, the book,
this was like we ran out of money paying the Westin, and we don't have time to do like a lengthy death scene for Christopher.
No, it's actually interesting though. In Patriot Games, the book, the Sean Miller doesn't die. He just gets arrested, and
That's
it's like
not satisfying
it's
at
like
all.
I think it's like 2 books later, they just mention in retrospect that he was executed. He was convicted of murder and executed. Went to the gas chamber.
Huh.
And it was like, but so you can do it different ways.
Yeah,
you
can
get the satisfaction different ways. But I think in a movie like this, and I know people, look, the Taken franchise, I'm not going to defend it as great cinema.
Revenge porn.
It is. It's
Revenge-a-ring,
straight up.
revenge-a-ring.
Yeah, it's straight up revenge porn.
Yes.
But that does work. That's why that movie made $1 billion, and the whole franchise they're up to like the 5th one now.
And that movie was more tightly formulaic. Like nobody's really there for the character development. They're not really concerned if Liam has any sort of
you want to see him hurt
conflict.
bad guys.
Yeah, he doesn't have any conflict emotionally or otherwise about
Yeah.
murdering these people. He's straightforward. That's what he's there to do. Whereas this is a lot of Johnny hemming and hawing and I don't want to do this and him.
It's Ed Wood.
It's real.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
The whole time it was like it was watching Ed Wood,
And it's realistic as to how a real person would do this. He wouldn't really get into a fist fight with Christopher Walken. He'd be like, okay, I'm going to the bar. Introspection. Oh, I'm going to duck into the shoeshine. Yeah, it's more realistic, and so it's a little more boring.
It is, and I think because you could have done it in different ways that would have been more interesting. Like if you have, I would have liked to have seen it where maybe about Act 2, middle of Act 2, beginning of Act 3, where Johnny Depp says, you know what, asshole? I'll kill your governor. I'm going to go have a drink first. Come with me. No,
And that's where there's
fuck you,
some
asshole.
sort of dramatic turnaround.
Yeah, fuck you. Let's go have a fucking drink.
You and I.
And like sitting there, Johnny Depp, I wanted to see Johnny Depp having a drink with Christopher Walken and have him say, I'm going to kill you before this is over.
Yes.
And tell him.
Like, have that moment. Establish
Like, I'm
it.
going to kill somebody. And I don't know who, but I know I'm going to kill you.
You're going to be one of them.
Yeah, and like, I think that's what it was. It was missing. It's retrospect, like I didn't have the idea for this movie. Somebody else did. And now here I am watching the movie thinking of different ways it could have gone.
Right.
It's not really fair.
Well, okay, to that end, because we do have to wrap. So before we go out to Seinfeld, which I guess is going to be boring, straight fives,
yeah.
Because I discovered this movie, like I said, pattering around on Amazon Prime. So that it was fun. I liked it. It was a nice romp.
Mr. Brown, have you seen it? No, I haven't seen this movie before, but I liked it.
He feels self-conscious.
He's not going to know. See,
Bobby.
He's going to think we're making fun of. We're not making fun of him. It's the voice from Bob's Burgers.
He takes this too seriously.
He would have to see. This is why he's got to watch.
You should watch your Bob's Burgers, Bobby.
Yeah, it's what Bob does to his friends that actually he cares far more about than his family.
No, don't take me off camera. I'm scared. Anyway. We'll explain it to him later.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so I guess a fun way to round this out, Jason, would be the recast game.
Ooh.
Or is it almost too easy to recast?
Oh, Gary Cole, obviously.
No, Gary Cole as Christopher Walken.
Oh, God. Recast.
And Ryan Reynolds as Johnny Depp.
You know what? I'll tell you right now.
I did it.
I'll tell you right now. Remake this movie. Ryan Reynolds in the Johnny Depp role.
Tom Holland. Because he's America's kind of sweetheart right now. He's the world's sweetheart.
Who's Loki?
Tom Hiddleston.
Tom Hiddleston.
Tom Holland is Spider-Man.
Yeah. Tom Hiddleston in the Christopher Walken role.
He could do it.
Because who is like...
menacing.
Who's a menacing 2020s actor?
I think... you said 2020s, but I think Alan Rickman could have made it a better
absolutely.
movie. Like even with the same writing and the same
He
lackluster
would have just been
script.
Hans Gruber, though.
He's Hans Gruber and he's Grube and
no, I don't think so.
shoot the Van Glass.
Yeah.
So
I'll get you, whatever your name was.
Gene Watson.
Gene Watson.
But I don't know. I liked Christopher Walken doing it.
Oh, he was fantastic.
But your recast game. So I said Ryan Reynolds and Gary Cole.
Ooh, you took Ryan Reynolds. Now I don't know.
I know that's your go-to. That's why I took Ryan Reynolds first, because that's like every time you recast something.
Who? Okay, somebody who is
John Krasinski could be Gene Watson.
Okay.
So Jim from The Office.
Okay.
He's Gene Watson.
And Chris Pratt in the Johnny Depp role.
That's so easy these days.
Well,
Chris Pratt, the star of everything.
There's like 4 actors out there.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like he's in everything. He's in Jurassic World. He's in, like he just made another movie. I'm blanking on the name, but it's just.
But imagine Daniel Craig, circa Casino Royale.
Oh, I know. So I just who did I just say? John Krasinski as Gene Watson, and now that he's older, Johnny Depp as Christopher Walken. And I win.
But here's the thing though, I Johnny Depp in a role where I hate him. I don't think I've ever seen Johnny Depp in a role where I wanted him to get the shit beat out of him.
Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
Okay. Yeah.
See,
okay.
I am a thorough Johnny fan. I immediately had an example.
See, all the people I'm thinking of for the Christopher Walken role, they're all old. Antonio Banderas would be fucking awesome.
He would. Well, I mean,
but
he's not old.
He's about the same age as Christopher Walken.
Is he really? No, Christopher Walken's got to be in his
he's
70s by now.
He's within 10 years.
Okay, so Antonio Banderas.
I'm trying to. I mean, it's tough. That's the problem.
I think Antonio's closer to Johnny than he is. Okay, yeah, because Johnny's 59.
No, Oscar Isaac. Oscar Isaac in the
Antonio's 61.
Okay.
Oscar Isaac
in
Gene
the
Watson.
No.
Oscar
as Christopher Walken.
He could do it. Oscar
Not
Isaac
Christopher
is
Lloyd.
So
that would be a very different movie. Marty, we've got to kill the governor.
It's Eric Stoll's
Oh,
mask, Marty.
jeez.
That was a hell of a The DeLorean's just like going along with the ectomobile. Okay,
yeah,
so seriously.
Oscar Isaac. Because
Chris Pratt.
Well, if I see Oscar Isaac, who would play opposite Oscar Isaac? You know what? Don't necessarily. I think the Johnny Depp character, make it a woman. And okay, Oh, I shouldn't say that because there's like a weird chemistry there. Oscar Isaac, Jessica Chastain.
Why is that weird chemistry?
Yeah, there was that weird thing where she was on the red carpet and Oscar Isaac was like,
he's like
feeling her up on the red carpet.
That was kind of weird.
And she's like married and stuff. And if I was her husband, I'd kill Oscar Isaac. I mean, I just would on principle. He'd be a dead man. Or her. Maybe.
Well, that could make it an even better dynamic.
Yeah, that's true.
So he creeps her out in real life. Okay, well, I think we have talked about all we can.
More than any two people have
Ever
talked
have.
about Nick of Time in history.
Now, all of a sudden, there's going to be a lot of, Amazon rentals. Well, it's free on Amazon Prime right now,
yeah.
so go check it
Yeah.
out while it's free. But we're gonna boost its ratings
Yeah.
on
So,
Amazon.
Mr. Brown, if you're in Costa Rica, you and Justin get together, and I'm sure Justin would probably, well, it's a little violent. It might scare him. Justin Trudeau might get all like sort of
Possibly, yeah, that's true.
Ew, it's icky.
Yeah, that's true.
But go ahead and try.
All right, he's off to go do that now. Yay.
Yeah.
So hindsighters, this has been a romp, a weird one where Christopher Walken or Lloyd, whichever Christopher it was the bad guy, and Johnny was the John Grisham
Michael
type.
J. Fox is
as the daughter. Michael J. Fox is the shoe shinest.
as the daughter.
They slap a wig on him
It's just sitting in the back seat
with a teddy bear.
I want to go home.
You're talking to me all wrong. It's the wrong town.
Yeah, we'll get Larry David. That's who. Yeah, we get Larry David to play. Yeah, all right.
We gotta wrap this
Okay.
up. Hindsighters, this has been a romp, a rare Darth and Jason episode with Mr. Brown, out of town and out of time.
Out of town, Mr. Brown. That's his new nickname.
Out of town, Brown. You have joined us for Nick of Time. We appreciate you joining us for your drive time, your listening time, your hostage time, your assassination on the governor time. We never care what kind of time. We just appreciate you joining us. Hindsighters, this has been Darth and Jason with Nick of Time on Hindsight, and good night.